Hey everyone, FlyingDutchy here and welcome to this updated guide video about crown power. I have learned so many new things, so I'm going to remove the older video and replace it with this one. And yeah, this will be the guide at the start of the game what you can do to get more crown power. So let's first go over what crown power is. So you can see here I have 41% crown power. And in 1369, nice, we have a very high number, 41%. And you can see that I have a lot of modifiers, so I will explain to you why you want to do this and how to do this. And it's very important because if you have more crown power, you can see the things over here. You have more base support for every parliament. The buildings have minus 16% upkeep, which is insane. Minus 1% court cost is also pretty good. This one is the biggest one. You get 41% of your trade income. Your trade income is completely scaled with your crown power. And you can see the rest as well. Crown power is everything, guys. So, we have 41% crown power over here. Let's go to the government screen and look at the estates. Because we have so much crown power, the other estates are having a little bit less power. Because there is only a total of 885 political power in my country, and that is divided by the estates and me, well, the crown. That's not really me, but the crown. And I have 41% of those 885 political power. And that means that the other estates will have lower power. And when they have lower power, you get the tax bonus. As you can see here, I have a higher maximum tax for the noble estate. The same counts for the clergy, but we are Catholic, so we are not really taking that right now. The burghers are at 25%. They are actually a little bit above 25%. And when you are going above 25%, you can tax them a little bit less. But some estates are giving some bonuses for being over 25%. So it's not always good. But for example, the farmers, they have 1% with their whole population. And it makes it that I can tax them more, like 11%. So I can tax the farmers with 44.7% in my game. And that is what is happening right now, and they are still staying above 50% estate satisfaction. So crown power is one of the things you want to look for at the start of the game. And let's go over all the things I did in this game I'm playing. So the first thing you want to do is try to get as much control in your country as possible. And you can do that by having cores, of course. When you have a core, you get 20% max control. But the most important thing is that you get your proximity spread to your nation. Now in this game I have vassalized Frisia, Gelre, Brabant, and I have annexed the rest of Utrecht over here already. But you can see that the control here is only 65% because the proximity is 66. And I made Amsterdam the capital, so it's going down the further it goes away from my capital. Over here I can only get 18% right now in Coevorden. The 20% from the core, but there we have a bit of low satisfaction right now in the country, so hopefully I can deal with that at some point. So the more control you have, and let me show here, so this is the control I have in my country. Not that great, right? 59, 74, so I can still increase this. And the more control you get, the higher this base number is gonna be from your crown power. And then the base number goes higher, with all the modifiers, will give you more crown power. Now at the start of the game, these are all the things you can do. So let's go over these one by one, and then I will explain how to do them. Now the easiest things are the government reforms and the buildings. So let's first go over these in this list. So we have a royal court. The royal court is a building that you can only build in your capital. Now in my game I made Amsterdam the capital, and you can see it over here. The royal court is giving 10% crown power and some efficiency of our cabinet. It will cost 0.55 maintenance because it needs to use all these things over here. But I think it's worth it, the 10%. But that is an easy building. You can find it when you click on the nobility in your capital. Then you can find all the noble buildings, or you click on this button over here, the tax base. And then you open all the buildings you can build in this location, which in my case is Amsterdam. And then at some point you will find the building to build the royal court. There it is. You will need some gold in your market, I think, so good luck with that. That's not very easy. Now another thing we have is a law, and that is the autocracy government reform. Sorry, it's a government reform. I took the autocracy government reform, which is this one, to get another 10% crown power. And another thing you can do at the start of the game is change a law, and that is the favor the ruler estate law. Or it's a policy that we need to change. And that is over here. You go to your government, go to laws, and then the estate laws over here. The distribution of power. Most of the time I think you will start with the traditional distribution, this one, which actually lowers your crown power. It does make your estates happier and you get a little bit more legitimacy over time. But you also go towards decentralization, which is not good, and I will explain that at the end of the video, why that is not good for the crown power. But you want this one. Because so you go from -10 to +20, so that is a switch of 30% of crown power. And we get a bit more tax as well. We can tax everyone a little bit more. You will have to deal with the estate's equilibrium, but as you can see in my game, the estates are very happy. And that makes sense, because I think the crown power also makes them happy. Here. The -5% estate satisfaction equilibrium I get from the favor the ruler, which you can see on the down left, is getting neglected almost completely by increasing your crown power. So this law is just completely good. I think there is nothing bad about this one. But there is another 20%. But change this one with a parliament. Don't change this by clicking, because it will cost you 91 or somewhat stability. Wait until you have your parliament, and then when you are at 50%, ask for a law change and change this one to favor the ruler. So then you get even more crown power. Now let's take a look at more things. So we have high legitimacy. You also always want to try to go to 100 legitimacy. This one. So that you get 10% more crown power. Very important. And then there is also a ruler admin ability one. And this is my ruler. He's having 47 admin points. And that is giving 11.75% crown power. So when I have an heir, what I most of the time try to do is make them good at admin, so that I can get more crown power. I think that is one of the best things you can do. Also Diplo is very good in my opinion. The estate's satisfaction equilibrium can actually make you a good amount of extra money, so these two are the most important. Military, it's a bit meh in my opinion, but these two, yeah. And then we have the things that are the most important and not so obvious. We went over all of these, and then we have in command and cabinet. If you have a crown member, it doesn't matter who, controlling all your current armies, you get 25%. If I split this army in two, and I put someone else, for example a noble on this one, you will see that that number is now 11.27%. It is almost half of it, because my crown member is ruling over 82 units, and this guy is ruling over 100, so that's almost 50%. So if you just put all your troops like this, and you put it under a crown member, I'm going to select crown here, there's Flores again, then you will get the full bonus. And the same counts for your navy. So at the start of the game you have no standing army. So what I do at the start of the game, when I have a crown member available, I go to my capital and I build the capital building, the sergeantry. You can only build this one in your capital. Not only you get some manpower, so you can start making standing armies and then build only one unit. Also get local crown power, so the crown power works more on this location. I cannot find the exact numbers of this crown power per location. I don't know where to find it. But it is, I think, helping, because I did monitor it a little bit. And then I build a standing army, so in peacetime I have this army only, put a crown member on it, and then I get a 25%. And I do exactly the same with my fleets. If you have all your boats, and I only have 2 boats at the moment who are mothballed, and who I'm also not paying any money for, so it's very cheap to do, I have a crown, I have my ruler is the admiral of these two boats. And because my ruler is doing this, I get another 25% bonus. So you can get a 50% bonus by having your crown members leading your armies and navies. If you go to war and you raise levies and they are not ruled, then this number will go down. But in peacetime it's up because these are the only armies and navies you have. Now, and then the last thing that I want to talk about is the cabinet stuff. I have 2 cabinet slots. And guess what? We have 2 crown members on these slots. We have this guy who is my son, 23-year-old. And we have my heir, who is also on this slot. I have 2 slots, and all the slots are worked by a crown member. And that means that I get 25% bonus, 12.5 times 2. If you have 3 or 4 slots, for example you have 4 slots, then you need to have 4 crown members to get the same 25% total bonus. If you have 2 out of 4 crown members, and the other 2 are from other estates, then this bonus will be halved. So you will get 6.25 per crown member, because it is 25 divided by 4. Then you get 6.25 per person in the cabinet. So, and with this we get another 25%, and then the last thing, you want to make your crown member in the cabinet the head of the cabinet. I made my ruler the head of the cabinet. That is a click you can do in this screen. And then he gets also these bonuses. Well, that's nice. He will be a little bit better. He cannot go out of the cabinet, I think. Yeah, he cannot be removed. But he will be a bit better. And until he is going to rule the country, he is going to stay in the cabinet using his admin skill. So yeah, when he becomes the leader, I'm going to get 19% more crown power because he has good admin skill. And yeah, then you get another 25% bonus, as you can see over here. So we have the head of the cabinet 25%, we have the cabinet members 25%, we are ruling all the armies and ruling all the navies in my country with a cabinet member, or a crown member, sorry. And that gives a total of 100% extra. So this number is getting modified by all these modifiers. So I think if I did not do this, we would go below 30% crown power, maybe 29, 28%. And now I have 41%. So that is what you want to do. And the last thing, and that is not possible at the start of the game, but this is huge. When you go to your values, then you see if we would go full centralization, we would get another 50% bonus to crown power. Watch out, Paradox is gonna change this. We are on patch 1.0.7 in this video, and at the moment there is no real incentive to go not centralization. But I think they're gonna change it that when you go more towards decentralization, that your vassals and your colonies will stay happier. So keep in mind that that can change, but for now, try to go centralization. At the start of the game, that is going to be way too difficult. Also because the Black Plague or the Black Death is coming, and that will make you go towards decentralization as well. So you should do that after that happened. And then try maybe to get some modifiers towards centralization to get that crown power up. And with that, I think we conclude our crown power tutorial. I think I explained the things that you can do at the start of the game and later in the game. You also get more advances later on in the ages to get more crown power. And the more crown power, the lower the crown power for your estates, and the easier it will be to also remove their privileges at some point. Because later in the game, I think you want only crown power, so. But yeah, it's now, how expensive is it for this one here? 30 only, 30 stability to remove a privilege. Normally that is way more. This is, I think, above 100 at the start of the game, so. Yeah, and the crown power is making it cheaper as well. So, I think that's gonna be it. I hope this was very informative, and tell me if it was in the comment section, like and subscribe, and then I see you in another guide video. Bye bye.